Welcome to a Parallel Project Training, APM Project Management Qualification podcast based on the APM Body of Knowledge 7th edition. You should be using this in conjunction with our e-learning, podcasts, and potentially a tutor-led course. For more information, please visit www.parallelprojecttraining.com.
Hello and welcome to Parallel Project Training Podcast. John's with me today. Hello, John.
Hello, everybody.
And I'm Paul Neighbour. And we're starting in the APM PMQ with the first topic. We're going to look at projects and business as usual.
That's right.
So the learning outcome or assessment criteria, to be correct, is to differentiate between projects and business as usual. So I expect it's good to choose an example, I expect, really, to illustrate the point.
I always use washing machines.
Do you?
I like washing machines.
So
it's something close to my heart.
What's the business as usual associated with washing machines?
Well, when you build the factory,
yes.
that's the project.
Yes.
And then building the washing machines in the factory is business as usual.
Okay.
So what you do, when you finish your project, you hand that, whatever you've done, over to whoever's going to run the factory so they can run their business.
Yes.
So, like, before you start, you haven't got a factory.
Yes.
Run the project. I've got a factory.
Something new.
That's right. So then you import a load of people.
Yes.
Engineers and people make the tea and all that sort of stuff. And then they switch it on, they import all the raw materials and they make washing machines and out pop washing machines. So each washing machine isn't a project, it's like what you do.
Business as usual.
So you hand over this project to the people that are going to operate it. So the people that are going to operate it are called the users, and the users define what they want. Having defined what they want, they accept it. They say, yes, that factory's fine.
Oh, okay.
And then they go and run it.
Me there. I thought you were talking about the washing machine.
Washing machine users.
Yes. It's the factory users.
Yes, okay. Yeah, that's right. So the users of the factory.
Who would those be? The operatives and head of director of operations?
That's right. It's the company, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Okay.
Like whoever it is, Hotpoint or Indesit or Mealy or whoever, they're going to say what they want out of that factory.
Yes.
So I want this to be able to produce 5,000 washing machines a day or whatever it is. And then when the project team are finished, they hand it over to the people who've asked for it.
Yes.
And then they ship in all the people that are going to make the washing machines. Okay. And they've got these big robots and manufacturing facilities and what have you. And they output washing machines. So basically you've gone from not having a factory to having a factory that produces washing machines.
It makes a good point, actually, because the skill set's different, isn't it? So the people who build the factory are going to be people like construction people, mechanical engineers who design the plant, power people who put the energy in.
That's right.
And then the people who operate the factory are going to be operators and a little bit of maintenance, but maintenance is different from building, isn't it? So,
that's right.
So you've got different skill sets.
That's right. Well, that's why it's important. I mean, people say, well, so what? What's the point, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of issues with this. Sometimes if you've got a business that is doing loads and loads of projects, sometimes their projects seem like business as usual.
Yes.
So like a heart operation, as far as the surgeon and the anaesthetist are concerned, it's business as usual. As far as you're concerned, if I said to you, you're going to have a heart operation, open heart surgery,
feels like a project.
And if it's just business as usual, it's just stuff we do all the time,
yes.
You're not going to feel that confident, are you?
Yeah.
So we all like to feel it, So
I don't know. I might feel more confident.
Yes, that's right. Well, at least
if the surgeon said to me, I've never done this before. This is unique.
Yeah.
So should we go through this list then? What makes a project, you know? So we say it's order to define the specific benefits, planned deliverables, one-off deliverables, really.
That's right.
Transient, so they don't go on forever. So that's your washing machine factory, and it might take you 2 years to build it, but it might be manufacturing washing machines for 40, 50 years after that. There can be various sizes, so projects can be big or large.
Or small.
Or small, yes, indeed. They're aimed at delivering a benefit. So in the washing machine example, the benefit is that we can make product, make money.
Yeah, that's right. So the benefit of having the factory to the people that want the factory is that they can make washing machines and make money out of it.
Yes.
So there's no inherent benefit in a factory unless you're going to use it for something.
Yes.
So, you know, the whole idea of a project delivering benefit, there's multi-layers to that, because the benefit of the business having the factory is only realised once they actually start producing the washing machines.
Yeah.
The bit about the transient's interesting. I mean, because, well, so what? Why does this matter? And you said it earlier on. The point is that the people that operate the factory, if I came along, imagine you're the works manager for that factory, and I said to you, right, we're going to move your factory to Bratislava, or I don't know, Kiel or somewhere. Then how happy are you? You're pretty miffed about that.
Yes.
What's the first thing you're going to do? Well, you're probably going to go and check house prices in Bratislava. But that change of business as usual has a big impact, right? So there's lots of people that are worried about, that change and the effect that it has on the business. But the project to build the factory or to move it, wherever they're going to move it, requires a project manager and a team that's only temporary. So you don't have standards and procedures and all that sort of stuff. You have to create it from scratch. You write a project management plan, you write a business case, you recruit the team, and that team will dissipate once it's finished. Whereas business as usual, so the reason
ongoing.
That's right. So the reason it's awkward is because you've got that consistency of approach, you've got standardized manufacturing processes, you've got loads of documentation to produce the washing machines. And what you don't want is some bright project manager coming along and disrupting all that.
Yes.
So that's where you get an element of friction between the people that run projects and the people that run business as usual. So if you don't understand that kind of conflict as a project manager, you're going to come unstuck because you won't understand why they don't want to do your project.
Yes, exactly. Because in business as usual, the objective is to be consistent and reliable.
That's right.
Do the same thing again and again and again.
Yeah.
Whereas the project culture is to change things
Yeah.
and make things different.
That's right.
So I suppose to be on the syllabus actually is that a different mindset or a different behaviour? But we don't need to go there. Let's go back to this list then. Operate within predetermined and planned budgets.
That's right. Well, you could argue they both do.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Except the project is because it's got a budget that's owned by the project manager.
Yes.
Whereas they usually call that CapEx.
That's the key difference on the budget.
Capital expenditure rather than OPEX, which is the operating expenditure.
Yes.
So when you're running the factory, you're buying raw materials, you're hiring labour, you're running the robots and the plant.
So it will have a budget.
It's got a budget, but it's an operating budget.
Yes.
And of course, what they're looking for is they'll see slow incremental reductions in that budget through efficiencies.
Yes.
Whereas a project won't have time necessarily to realise efficiencies. That doesn't mean not efficient, but it doesn't have such a big impact because it's a relatively short space of time.
Yeah. Well, CapEx is usually money you've borrowed to invest in a factory.
That's right.
So you how do you borrow the money for a business case? So you have to make a cost-benefit argument to get that capital. Either you borrow it off a bank or an investor or the group company.
Yeah. Or you borrow it off yourself.
Yes.
If you've got money in the bank, you're just foregoing the interest by investing it in something else. And that's the whole idea of investment appraisal, because what you're hoping is that return you're going to get through building washing machines is more than you would get if you left the money in the bank.
I'm investing money now in the hope of getting a return in the future.
That's it.
Whereas with business as usual,
OPEX.
You're earning revenue from the operation.
That's
so
right.
you're manufacturing washing machines, and the revenue you get from the washing machines funds all the parts that you need with a bit of cash flow.
Yeah.
So they both have budgets, it's just different types. And then they're unique, they only occur once.
What projects do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I think they talk about an element of uniqueness.
Okay.
Which I love. It's like, unique. Are you either unique or you're not, aren't you?
Yes.
Are you either dead or you're not?
Well,
you're either pregnant or you're not.
Look at the zombie project.
It's either unique or it isn't.
keeps getting up and carrying on, despite all attempts to kill it.
Yeah. Lie down. I'm not dead. He's not dead.
Yeah.
Bring out your dead. So I think it's we have some of our customers who run very similar projects over and over again.
Yes.
But the argument is, for the purists, it's not quite in the same place at the same time, therefore it's unique.
It's a spectrum, isn't it? There are some purely unique.
But I mean, if you're resurfacing a road, it's
the same as the last road did.
More or less, isn't it? I don't wish to knock our colleagues who repair roads.
Have you been listening to the podcast 13 Minutes to the Moon? You should listen to it. It's really interesting. It's about putting the men on the moon.
Okay.
And the software problems they had and the technical.
Oh, yeah.
That's truly unique because
Yes.
it was the first ever computer, first ever integrated circuits,
Yes.
the first programming ever.
Yes.
So everything about it was unique. So that's at one end of the spectrum. Resurfacing a road, with greatest respect to
Road engineers.
road people,
Yeah.
is probably, I think tunnelling's the example. The people who do these tunnelling railways, like Crossrail.
Yeah.
If you're a tunnel operator, you spend 5 years tunnelling, it feels like business as usual.
Day in, day out.
Day in, day
Exactly,
out.
yeah.
But that's good because you get good at doing tunnelling.
That's right, yeah.
So the more business as usual, like your project is, the better you are at it. House builders, the more you can consistently deliver it.
That's why you generally import people that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's why you have these sort of groups of people that sort of travel the world. They'll go and build, London Overground. Then they'll all go to Dubai to do the metro, or
Yes,
they'll
that's
go
right.
to Hong
It's
Kong
like the
to do the
Olympics
mass
people.
transit.
Olympics goes, oh my God, that's unique. But actually, half the team
Yeah. Well, the reason they do
did
it,
Sydney, and then they went to London, then they went to Rio.
the reason they do it is to get some of the efficiencies that business as usual
that's right.
get. You see,
Yes, that's
because business as usual learn by their errors and correct them. So, if you're importing the same team every time, they've already got all that inherent knowledge and they don't make the same mistakes again. So, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you can, with this, just to sum up a bit, with this, you can get dragged into wondering why, well, what's the point of wondering about this? So what? But actually, the fundamental difference is that the project manager has to hit the ground running.
Yes.
You've got a new team, you've got to get them to be efficient as soon as possible, and you've got to write your project management plan and just get going. Whereas business as usual, it's got a longer, different mindset, slower, incremental improvement, looking for incremental efficiencies over a longer period of time. Consistency, uniformity of approach.
Yes.
When you're producing washing machines, you don't want the next one to look different from the previous one, unless it's a new model, of course.
Yeah. So in the book, there's this differentiation between them: seek to introduce change, consistency, limited time, ongoing, working with unique teams.
That's right.
With sort of project-specific plans, whereas business as usual want to be highly procedural, specific scope delivered by the project. You could argue actually projects have a specific, business as usual has a specific scope. It's just repeated. It's the same scope again and again and again. It's the same deliverable.
Well, I suppose. I mean, if it wasn't washing machines, if it was something bigger, so let's say it's a new aircraft type, then the first one may well be a project. The second one might be a project. The third one, but when you're like Airbus producing, 3 aircraft a week, they're all starting to look very much like business as usual.
Yes,
but I bet they give them a project number. I bet
probably
they give that
I was going to
airframe
say
a project
as soon
number.
as you mentioned that, I thought I bet they're each unique.
Yeah. Well, people like gas turbine developers, like Rolls Royce. I mean, they treat every engine as a project.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's what they do.
So they projects produce one-off deliverables.
Yeah.
At the extreme end, whereas project produce the same deliverable, same washing machine again and again and again. Yeah. Discrete number of steps called a project life cycle, product life cycle. So a washing machine has a product life cycle. So you launch a new product.
No. The factory.
Okay, both do actually. Both do.
Yeah, but the reason, at some point you're going to want to dispose of the factory.
Yes.
So that's why you incorporate the product life cycle.
Decommissioning the factory.
It's become very popular these days because of the environmental cost of disposing of things.
Yes.
So it's the factory that, when you look at the project life cycle and then the product life cycle, it's the product life cycle of the factory, not the washing machine.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then projects are about change, transformational change.
That's right. So I can do something now I couldn't do before.
Yeah. So that's keeping up with PESEL changes, really, responding to the change in the environment. Whereas business is about consistency and reliability and continual improvement.
I think change in that context is talking about introducing change.
Yes, that's right.
There's a step change in capability. So I didn't have a factory, now I've got a factory.
Yeah, but in business as usual, still change, but you'll evolve slowly. So they have things like quality circles, they have marginal gains, so they'll try and optimise.
Yeah, but that's business as usual.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
That's right, business as usual. Whereas projects have a capital business case, and business as usual is usually funded from the revenue generated by the project itself.
That's right.
Good.
Done.
Thank you very much, everyone.
We hope you enjoyed this podcast and found it informative. To find out about our training courses, e-learning, or tutor-led course, please go to www.parallelprojecttraining.com.